I read at a 34-year-old level, so I'm not trying to brag, but, you know, I took some college classes recently, and I asked the administrator, I said, you know, what grade am I in? You know, do I have a grade? And he said, well, you'd be in the 27th grade. Which seems so weird, because 27th graders always seem so big to me. It's weird to actually be one. Didn't they? You know, so during recess, this guy does my taxes, right? I mean, he's a 34th grader. He knew what he was doing, okay? And we see these two 50th graders getting in a fight. He says he's going to break that up. And I say, forget it, man. These 50th graders, you know, they're big guys. And finally, an 80th grader busted them apart, you know, so we went on with our lives. Oh, I said, Brat, here's the deaf fog. Because I was a little kid, so I talked like that. I wasn't retarded. I said, Brat, here's the deaf fog, you know. And he takes this little dead frog and he attaches it to this leather harness, in a D-cell battery, and he's got a butter knife, and he's in there working. Steam's coming up, and I'm looking, I'm a little brother. I said, Brad, it's amazing. The frog, it's actually moving. And it was. It's in its harness going, you know, when a frog starts to vibrate in a little leather harness with a D-cell battery, it goes like that, right? I mean, it's a frog. It can't talk, and it can't get me out of this damn harness. It can't say that. And I'm just amazed, Brad, it's moving. And Brad said, this is true, he said, yeah, I brought him back to life. He'll never die again. Play a guilt trip on my mother. We would miss because my parents would simply sleep too late. Weren't you very hip to that as a kid? Weren't you very quiet Sunday morning? Shh, they're sleeping. We might not have to go. They're still asleep, man. This could be another Saturday if you just shut your mouth. And the days you didn't have to go was such a feeling of relief, wasn't it? Wasn't it the exact same emotion in grade school? Show up to a class expecting a test, and you'd remember that you'd show up and you'd see a film projector and a substitute teacher. Yeah! That was great. Because we had a cutoff point in our house. If our parents were up by 11, we could go to church. If they weren't, church was out that day. So we'd wait by the door with the countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. They ain't up, we ain't going. Yeah! And then Brad would say, yeah, I put something in their food last night. We'll never have to go to church again. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't want to have parents. I didn't think it was cool to have parents. When I was 12, I just thought, you know, to be seen with your mom and dad in a shopping mall at age 12, wasn't that the worst thing that could happen in your life? Walking around with them, just praying your cool friends wouldn't see, you know, these are the nerdiest parents anybody's ever had. I don't believe this. Then you see your cool friends over there, and they're smoking and acting tough. Look, there's Carvey. Let's go over and hassle him, man. They'd come over, and I'd try to cover up. Well, them? Just old friends. Yeah, my real parents, they worked for the CIA in South America, yeah. They're not nerdy like this. Not a chance. My father made me so nervous that I would not ask him to stop the family station wagon, this is true on vacations, so that I might go to the bathroom. Did you ever feel that intimidated? Because he'd say, Dane, why don't you go in Reno? You know, and I say, Dad, we're in Canada now. I have a bladder infection. I need help. Please, Father, help me, please, now. And I did have an accident once. I think everyone has that problem when you're a kid, and it was important to me at the time. It was what was happening to me. It was very frightening. I was 3.5 years of age, little tiny kid, in the back of the station wagon, on the way to our cousin's house in Seattle, had to go bad, afraid to ask my father to stop the car. And I created a load. I dropped a load. I pooped my pants, whatever you want to say. I created a whole new world down there for myself. And I was 3.5 at the time, but it was very traumatic to me. I remember that sensation of thinking, this is not a good thing in life. I'm not enjoying this. This is not, I mean, I realized at that moment it's impossible to be cool with a load in your pants. You know what I'm saying? And I was pacing in the back of the station wagon. That's how little I was. Oh, my goodness, this is not a good thing. I'm not enjoying this. And we get to my cousin's house in Seattle, and I don't want them to know that I have a load. It's definitely not hip, right? So I'm walking in the house trying to conceal and just doing the best I can. I look like a 3.5-year-old John Wayne kind of strutting in there. Well, tell me where the bathroom is, partner. And I get in there by myself, alone, confused, frightened. Partly cloudy day. I was dressed in beige. I don't remember much else. Surveyed the situation. Suffice to say, the underwear was beyond repair. There was no hope for this underwear. It was time for underwear heaven. Now the dilemma for a 3.5-year-old, partly cloudy day, dressed in beige, how to dispose of my underwear so that no one might know I ever had a load. I applied all the trigonometry I knew at the time. This is true. And I elected to climb out my cousin's bathroom window. And I buried my underwear in the backyard under a big willow tree in Seattle, Washington. It's probably still there. And I heard a noise and I looked around the side of the house, and I saw my dad burying his underwear. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I couldn't resist. I said, "Dad, why didn't you go in Reno?"